Hello, everybody. This is Real Talk, Real People, and got another interesting development for you guys. Now, this one almost flew under the radar, and I would think that happened by design. This article is Whites Only Church Identified as a Hate Group Gets Permit to Meet in Minnesota Town. This is written by Nelson Oliveira at NewYorkDailyNews.com. That's where the article's from. So we're going to break this down. We're going to take a look at this and I'll just give my thoughts on it. But they're at it again, Bobby. They're at it again. Let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you and let me know if you like these shorter videos, right? Let me know. Town officials in a tiny Minnesota community anonymously voted Wednesday night to allow a controversial whites-only religious group to turn an abandoned church into a regional gathering hub. The Asatru folk assembly, which worships Norse gods and has been designated as a white supremacist group, sparked angry backlash after applying for a permit in the Swift country town of Murdoch, a farming community of fewer than 300 people about 115 miles west of the Twin Cities. A board member for the church even acknowledged it would not admit a black person because they're not of Northern European descent. But the city attorney advised the local council that it could face a possible lawsuit if it voted against the permit based on the group's religious beliefs, according to the Star Tribune. There are certain constitutional protections that apply to religions, City Attorney Don Wilcox reportedly told council members Wednesday. I haven't seen any evidence sufficient to overcome the presumption that they are a religion, whether you agree with it or not. The church, also known as AFA, is among a growing number of hate groups that romanticize pre-Christian Viking culture, a revived ideology known as neo-Volkish, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. The group does not hide its pro-white beliefs, writing on its website it supports a strong, healthy white family relationship. We want our children to grow up to be mothers and fathers to white children of their own. And the church's statement of ethics reads, Wednesday's controversial 3-1 vote was held virtually because of the coronavirus pandemic, but council members kept their video cameras turned off and refused to identify themselves despite multiple requests from online viewers, the Tribune reported. Local activists formed a group dubbed Murdoch Area Alliance Against Hate condemned the vote on social media while thanking the sole council member who opposed the measure. Tonight, the city council granted Asatru Folk Assembly a conditional use permit. They voted to allow hate, discrimination, and racism into our town, the group said on a Facebook post. Only one member of the city council voted to protect Murdoch tonight, and to her we send out our sincere love and support. We see you, we recognize your courage and compassion. The AFA's newest hub is the site of a former Lutheran church and was purchased for just $45,000. It will be the group's third gathering hall in the U.S., along with sites in Cali and North Carolina. AFA board member Alan Turner said the group has about 500 followers nationwide and just 20 or so in Minnesota. So, as you heard there, they are the AFA, Asatru Folk Assembly, are a white supremacist hate group that's also a church. When we think of white supremacist groups, we think of the KKK. In modern and past terms, which still operate, and a lot of KKK members were, they portrayed themselves as Christian. A lot of pastors, a lot of KKK rallies were ran out of, again, churches, Christian churches, supposedly Christian churches. So this isn't really that different, but it's strange to see a town that doesn't want this type of hate in their city, in their town, be overridden with the threat of a lawsuit. So the town lawyer that they had advised that they couldn't find one other way to, vote against them getting a permit. Like, there was nothing else that they could do to turn down this permit. Really. There's nothing, I mean, when it comes to any other group or any other people, you can find some sort of, we couldn't let you in because of this. There's so many bull reasons that other people's get turned down for permits and other stuff. So they couldn't find one bull reason for this. I think this was just pageantry. Maybe the town doesn't mind having these people here. It's a small town. We don't know what the ethnic demographics are in the town, but it's in Minnesota, so who knows? But just something interesting. You got to watch these folk. You know what I'm saying? You start seeing more AFA stuff here. Then you know where you heard it from first. And what's interesting too is I knew nothing about this, but it's just interesting that Assassin's Creed Valhalla comes out, and then all of a sudden, you have. I don't think there's any connection, but it's just you've been seeing Assassin's Creed Valhalla be popular. The whole Viking show that I think is on, I don't know if it's on National Geographic or History Channel, Vikings, that was big. There's been a big uptick of Viking, interest. And I think they harken back to Vikings because it's a symbol of power when white folks or a group of white folks were warriors, were power. They didn't have to cower. They didn't have to worry about being politically correct. I think they harken back to the principles. When it comes to just white survival, white genetic survival, it gets really touchy, right? Because you got to put it in perspective. You got to look at it like this. Now, I'm not making any excuses for it, but in order to be able to combat stuff like this, you got to try to understand it on a deep level. So if white people are the global minority across the planet and will eventually be bred out due to admixture, you're seeing this wealth aggregation, and you're seeing this I like to call it the grabbing the purse effect, where they're trying to pull back everything, trying to become a homogenous culture, trying to circulate all the wealth. Basically, they're trying to pull a South Africa. They're trying to pull an apartheid. They're trying to get so much wealth out here that it doesn't matter how many Black folks or melanated folks there are. It doesn't matter how outnumbered they get. They have all the wealth or have a huge percentage of the wealth, and thus they can insulate themselves from annihilation. But I mean, it's interesting how things pan out. If admixture goes on at the rate that it's going, yeah, they will be. The problem handles itself, but I think you're just seeing. I hope I don't sound like I'm sympathizing, but it seems like you're seeing people fight for their lives. But here's my issue. I don't think you'd have to fight this hard if you just treated people with decency, courtesy, respect, and got out of people's way. I mean, there's a global history of just general savagery, general just bestial attitudes, and just honestly, it's not a good legacy. But I mean, at any time, they could turn things around and just be like, hey, we're sorry for everything that we did. We're sorry for kind of destroying everything that we touch, altering it, trying to rebrand it, flip it, and say that we came up with it. We're tired of stealing. We're tired of purporting ourselves one way and condemning others for doing the same things. Let's try to make this better. That's what they should do. But it's almost like they're doubling down. It's like, well, we've done too much. We can't go back. There ain't no going back. So let's just cling to each other. Let's impose, let's do a race war because we have the technology, we have the numbers right now. And, let's take out, it's like a kamikaze effect, but that goes deeper. And maybe that's on a tangent. I don't know. Maybe it's relevant. But what do you guys say? Do you think that the town should have fought more to keep these people from creating a religious base in their city? Do you think there was more that could be done? Do you think they actually wanted these people in their city? Do you think towns should have protections against religious groups? Where's the separation of church and state here, from local government to that? I mean, should a town be able to say we don't want this here if it sparks hate? But if we tell them they can't put their base here, their assembly ground here, does that protect a Christian church? Does that protect a mosque? Does that protect a Buddhist temple? So a couple things to consider. It's all gray. Nothing's black and white, although sometimes we feel it should be. But anyway, again, this is Real Talk for People. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll have more for you.